Good evening, Americans. You got the Mark Bradley Show. I, of course, am your host, Mark Bradley. Every Monday through Thursday night, the show is on YouTube. Check it out. If you want to email me like Frello did, and I'm going to share that with you tonight, you can send those emails to markbradleyshow@gmail.com. That's G for Google, gmail.com. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about Honduras. Have you heard about that one? We'll get to that right at the top of the show. And rounding out the show tonight, mixed martial arts and bullets. Sounds like a great combination. I can't wait to get to that one. So, in Honduras currently, Manuel Zelaya. Sorry, let me try that again. Manuel Zelaya. Yes, no, he's not a liar. Just Zelaya. Okay, that's how it goes. Zelaya. Quit saying he's a liar. Nobody said he's a liar. I don't know if he is or not. Anyway, he's been removed as president by the military and the Supreme Court. Don't let the news fool you. They're calling it a military coup, and that may be accurate, may not be. The Supreme Court and the military claim that they legally removed him as president because of his attempts to eliminate term limits and continue his presidency. He wasn't up for re-elect, or his term wasn't up until 2010, but he attempted a referendum to eliminate the term limit so that he could continue as president. And the people and the military and the Supreme Court in Honduras would have none of it, so they said, get out of here. Currently, the interim president, Roberto Micheletti, is presiding over the government of Honduras, and he, as well as the foreign minister, have issued statements saying that if Zelaya returns, he will be arrested and put in jail for what he tried to do. The international, well, I'm not going to call it the international community. Several international organizations have condemned what they call this coup for being a military coup and being illegal and wrong. I don't know if that's entirely true or not. That's what most of the news stories you're getting here in America say, and if you've seen it on your nightly news, it's probably what you've heard. The facts are unclear, just as they were in Iran. It's hard to get accurate information as to was a law broken, was this legal, was it illegal. And Honduras has always been a difficult country, so close there with Nicaragua, and very close to Colombia also. But here's what I found interesting about this. They're calling the removed president, Manuel Zelaya, a leftist president. And it just seems interesting to me that the media and our president and several other organizations, the UN, have spoken out against his removal. Any connection there? I don't know. I'm not saying there is, but there may be. They may be looking out for people who agree with them ideologically. The current interim president is a much more United States friendly president, well, would be, I guess, as well as the people of Honduras. Apparently, Zelaya, according to an article I read, had a 30% approval rating, and that was an article I read on Reuters.com if you want to look for that. So, apparently 70% of the people were not happy with him, and maybe it's good that he's gone, or maybe this is too much trouble for him to handle. We'll see. The Association of, no, that's not what it's called, Central American States has condemned this, and they actually issued an ultimatum, said you will reinstate the president by this weekend or face sanctions and embargoes and things. So watch that story, see what happens. Should be interesting. I hope for the sake of the people of Honduras that they did the right thing and that they can increase freedom. This previous president was not exactly the most law-abiding, freedom-loving president they've had, so we'll see where that goes. I wanted to share with you an email I got the other day. Jay from Washington wrote regarding the healthcare show I did, and he wanted to clear up some issues that I probably didn't thoroughly explain, and I thought it was good that he did send that email. Very, very substantive. Excuse me. I wanted to share with you one particular quote that I found interesting, and that initially I kind of recoiled, but when I read the whole thing, I said, okay, well, that's not incorrect. It depends on how you take it, and it can be taken one of two ways. Here's what he said. He said, I see insurance as a shared social responsibility for, well, and let me tell you right there, that makes me step back a minute. But he continues, for a group of people that are willing as a community to help each other cover costs that could not be bared alone. Now that second part I found quite agreeable. And I think, and I want to present to you an idea that I had that might help our healthcare costs come down. And that would be non-profit insurance groups where free people could join. It would be probably a one-size-fits-all type of catastrophic health insurance plan, maybe with something like a health savings account involved where you could save up money for that towards healthcare costs. But then people could join, and administrative costs would be kept to a minimum because all the rules would be clearly spelled out. There would be very few rules to have because it'd be a simple catastrophic plan. If you are admitted to the emergency room and you undergo treatment for falling off your house or for driving your car into the lake, you'd be covered, and there wouldn't be all this administration that you'd have to go through, and claims and all that. And filing a claim would be much simpler. And if they did that, they could keep administrative costs down and be able to run this as a not-for-profit. It's possible. It's an idea. Could it work? I bet somebody in America could make it work, because that's just the kind of country we are. And I hope somebody gives it a shot. We'll see. If you've heard of something like that, send me an email. Let me know if somebody's doing that now, and I haven't heard of anyone. Now, this is exciting news. If you watch mixed martial arts, especially the UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championship, you might recognize who I'm talking about in this story. If you're not, well, follow along and you'll catch on real quick. Philip Borgelli, the editor of the gun department at Field and Stream magazine, wrote on his Gun Nut blog, if you're a member of the all-important 18 to 34-year-old demographic, you probably recognize Brock Lesnar, who says he's the right spokesman for Fusion because it's an edgy, bad bleep product. And that's the quote that he wrote about. I went and checked out Federal Ammunition, which is made here in Lewiston, Idaho. Checked out their Fusion website. Checked out an interview with Brock Lesnar. If you don't know who Brock Lesnar is, he is a huge, his neck is twice the size of his head type of wrestler, former WWF wrestler turned mixed martial arts fighter. And if you're not into that fighting stuff, that's okay. You don't have to be. I've watched it. I enjoy some of the fights. They're quite athletic and talented people. Anyway, this guy's huge. So they talked to him about hunting, and he's now the spokesman or the face of Federal's Fusion line of ammunition. I've shot the ammunition. It's solid, very good, relatively accurate. Out of my 270 Winchester, it shot relatively well. Great deer bullet, and that's what you'll see if you go to fusionammo.com. There's a couple videos of Brock Lesnar there. He said on one of them that going a fall without hunting is out of the question. Strong statement there, because he's a hunting lover. He claims that he loves whitetail deer hunting. I found it interesting, though, that Federal chose him to represent their Fusion ammo, because as such a huge man, I would have thought of him, if he were a bullet, would be something more like, an 1 3/4 766 grain rifled slug coming out of a shotgun or something, something big and heavy and knock your house down type of bullet. But anyway, that's the news for today. Special early show tomorrow. Catch that on YouTube. Check for updates, Facebook and Twitter.com. If you want the link to the Brock Lesnar videos, I'm going to post that on my Twitter page, twitter.com/MountainManMark. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.